What is up, guys? Terranova Tech here, again with another GUI. So I had this idea about making like a planet app. So something that you could launch and then select a planet of your choosing, and then it shows you like this super high definition photo of it, and then gives you a description off to the right and maybe like a quote at the bottom. Just a fun little project that I thought would be pretty interesting. So for this, we're going to be using a couple of things. We're going to be using Tkinter, and I'll leave a description in the bottom on how to install that. And we're also going to be using Pillow, which is how we're going to import the pictures from the code into the actual project itself. And aside from those two things, I think that's pretty much it. The rest is just Python version 3 that I'm on, 3.8.5 at this moment. The link is in my bio for the code to this. So if you want to just copy and paste and play around with the modules, go for it. If you want to code along and learn how everything goes, then stay on the video and I will walk you through every single step on the way there. Without further ado, let's get going. All right, so what we're going to be looking at here is the finished product. So this is going to be the end result of what we end up building. So we have this main GUI box, and then we've got a drop-down menu at the top here where we can select a planet. From here, let's say we do Earth, and then we hit Get Info. It imports a really high definition quality photo, and then off to the right, we can add things like a description. All of this data came straight from NASA. By the way, it's open source data. It's not like copyright or anything. You can just copy and paste it right in. And at the bottom, we've got like a beautiful quote. Humans are the primary inhabitants of this beautiful planet, but they treat it like crap. They treat it very poorly. That was just kind of a fun thing I put in there. But the idea is that you can sort of select each planet and go through, you know, just little facts and stuff like that about it. I thought it was pretty cool. So let's close this, and we're going to start from fresh. So we are going to delete all of this, and I've got a main Python. I just called it planets.py, and then I've got a couple of test things here. This was very handy, I found, when I was coding it, because it allowed me to sort of take parts out of the main code that had a lot of complexity at the time and paste them into the test and make sure that they're running properly. So I would recommend that if you are starting a project like this, where things start to get a little overbearing at times. But for this project, I'm just going to stick mostly within the planets.py here. For the photos, if you want to grab them off my GitHub, I grabbed these off of a like PNG site that was kind of sketchy looking, but the quality is actually pretty nice. I got this one from NASA. So if you want, I'm not sure what is going on with the JPEGs. I couldn't get JPEGs to come in, and I didn't have enough time to research why. So I went with PNGs. So that's why I've got PNGs there. So the first thing we're going to do is build out our like GUI frame, right? Because we're gonna use that as the basis of putting everything in. So there's a couple things I'm going to import here. I'm going to import Tkinter as TK. I'm going to do from Tkinter import TTK. From Tkinter import all. Let's just make sure I have everything. Then I'm going to import PIL, which is pillow. And then I'm going to say from PIL import image TK and image. I actually don't think I need all of these looking back at this right now, but we'll see. Okay, so there's a couple global variables I'm going to want. I'm going to want green, which is just a color global variable. If you watch any of my other tutorials, I always tend to make stuff a little more customized to my aesthetic, so this is totally up to you. If you want to do that. I just use a color picker on Google to just sort of scroll through the colors and pick whichever one I like. And then we're going to make a height and width global variable. I found 700 by 900 works out pretty nicely for me. So you can make this full screen if you want. So we're going to make our root.tk. Or I'm sorry, root equals tk.tk. And then we're going to say, we're going to give it a title. Why not? We'll say like, welcome to the Planet app. Whatever you want here is fine. Cool. Then we're going to create our canvas. tk.canvas. Let me move this over so if I run anything, you can actually see it. That's good. Okay, so tk.canvas, and we're going to pin this to the root. And then we can say height is equal to height. Width is equal to width. And the background we will make this, you can just put in white here. I'm doing like a dark gray, but you can type in like black. Just make sure that whatever color you do end up using matches the background of the picture. You'll see why in a little bit. And then we'll place that in, or pack it. We pack it in, canvas.pack, and let's make a main loop. And we'll run that for now, just see where we're at. As long as you can spell. All right, so there we go. So we have our box. That's a great start. So you can sort of just imagine, what I typically do is I pull up like paint and I literally just sketch out like, here's my box, here's a drop down menu, here's the go button, you know, here's where I'll put my planet, here's where I'll put my description, and then I'll put a quote down here. This is what I did. And then I was like, that looks good. And then we'll have like a planet right here that we can import, and then we can have the descriptions in here like that, and maybe this can be a drop down menu. So that's kind of where I came up with the idea. So if you want to visualize that, or even when you're starting your own project or want to use this for as a reference to your own project, I do recommend that. So back to VS Code here. So I'm going to put a ton of space main loop so I can put some more stuff here. So those three things right there, I want a description frame. So I'm going to call that description frame is equal to tk.frame. Put it in the root. bg is equal to, and this is just a darker gray. This 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, or whatever. It's just dark. You'll see in a sec. And then we can say description frame dot place, and place is a lot more flexible. I'm just going to paste in these dimensions here. So I've got rel x 0.6, rel y 0.1, rel height 0.6, and rel width 0.35. And that will place it right where I want it. You can fiddle around with these numbers and move them around. That's why I like the dot place feature so much, because it makes everything a lot more flexible. I don't actually like the grid system all that much, though I haven't used it quite often, but place is really flexible. I like that. So that's where we're going to put the description frame. Then we're going to have a fact frame that pretty much does the same thing. tk.frame. Then we're going to put that in the root, and then we're going to have the same background color. Just like that. Okay. I'm going to copy this and paste it down here and just name it fact frame dot place. And then for this one, it's going to be 0.05. For rel x. For rel y, we're going to do 0.72. For rel height, we're going to do 0.2. And rel width, we're going to do 0.9. So this is going to be shoved all the way down and then stretched out really far. Just like that. So we have our description frame, and then we can put a little quote there or whatever. Whatever you want. We are going to leave, in case you're wondering, we're not going to create a frame for the pictures because PIL, or Pillow, uses the canvas to attach photos. And if you know a way to attach to a frame, feel free to leave that in the comments below because I'm interested. But yesterday I spent far too long looking at how to do this. And I didn't see anything that said you could attach it to a frame. It said I had to be the canvas. So that was that was a huge overcoming I had to do yesterday, but so that we're just gonna leave that blank, and then we can use the dot place to sort of move the photo of the planet around, and we can resize as well, which is nice. So make sure all of our planets are relatively the same size. So we're gonna start with that drop-down menu. So I'm gonna say option is equal to, and then this is a list, so we're gonna say like Earth, and then Jupiter. This is in no particular order. Neptune, Mars, Saturn, Venus, Uranus if you're a kid, Mercury, and Pluto. I know what you're saying in the comments. Pluto's not a planet. But if you go on NASA, they actually do say it's a planet type thing. They don't say exclusively it's a planet, but they're like, it's kind of a planet. It's kind of a planet. So we're going to say clicked is equal to the string variable. And then we can say from there clicked dot set, and then option index 0. This is just going to say that when you load up the program, the option is currently set to Earth as the default. You can make the default whatever you want. Fun fact, it doesn't, the way we're building this, you have to click the button to run the import feature. So even though it's defaulting as Earth, you'll have a blank page on the first load in, and that's actually what I wanted, so I could put like made by Anthony on there, you know. But you can put whatever you want on there. It don't matter. Okay, so we're gonna say drop is equal to option menu, and then we're gonna say root clicked and then option, just like that. And we can configure this, so we can say drop.config, and then we can make the background a different color. I like making it that same as that nice dark color, like that. And then we can make the foreground green. This just makes the background of the button the same color as the background, so it kind of gives it like this transparent look with the green text. I just personally like that. You don't have to do drop.config at all. The regular button is like white with black text, so if you prefer that, go for it. I just like this color, so we'll do drop.place, and then we can move it around with that rel x, rel y. I'm just gonna paste this in because it's a pain in the butt to type out, but I've got rel x 0.4, rel y 0.01, rel height 0.05, and rel width 0.1. Let's take a look at that. It's right there. That is fine. Works for me. Okay, so that's what we're working with right there. So we can, from here, so when you load up the program, right, you've got the drop-down menu. Nothing happens when you click it. That's fine. But the first initial load in, if you want to put stuff in here, you certainly can. I ended up I created 2 variables. The reason I create variables is because when you're creating the label, it just becomes very long and strenuous. So you'll see me create these variable texts all the time. So I've got like, welcome to the planet app, and then three enters, choose a planet to get started, project by me. And then text 2, I can pin to the bottom where the quotes are, and I'll say like fun facts or quotes. Yeah, fun facts will show up in this box here. And then we can create a couple of labels to put in those frames. So let's do that. I'm gonna do initial label right into the root of the program, so it loads up first thing. Whoops. And then we're going to say that is equal to tk.label. And then we can pin that into the description frame. And we can say the text is equal to text. Right, because we're just importing that text. So this is where you could put, you know, blah, 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 blah here, but then it gets just way too long and crazy looking. So I just like to make the variable text. Makes the label look a lot cleaner and you actually know what's going on. So we're gonna use this font, which is kind of cool. Monotype Cursiva. You can use whatever font you want. I'm pretty sure like every Windows font is integrated in Tkinter, but all I did to do this was I took a notepad out and I just liked this font right here in size. And so you can choose the font that way. And then I just copied this and then copied the size. That's all I did. And then, so that's font and then wrapped up in brackets, monotype Cursiva, and then comma 18, that's the type and size. And then we can make the background. I'm gonna make it that same background color, the dark green. And we can make the foreground like white. Whoops, as a text. There we go. And then all we gotta do is pack it in. Initial label.pack. If you want it centered, the default is top. So if I just leave it as pack, it will just shove it to the top and center it. But I kind of want it to be down the middle. So I can say side is equal to left here. Oops. Yeah, actually, I guess that's probably fine. Actually, I am going to leave. Okay, I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong text. This is for text 2. Yeah. And then this is going to be not the description frame, but the fact frame. So I'm just going to label these initial label 2. There we go. Fun facts. And now we can say side equals left. There. That's what I was going for. So I want the big fun text to be at the bottom and then just like regular text at the bottom. Gaudigi is what I used for that. So I'm just going to copy and paste label 2 on here, change this to text, change the font to Gaudi 12, and then everything else is the same. And we can just pack this in. We don't need any particular side. So just like that. There. So that's our initial text. And then when we choose, we want to kill the, I love saying this, but we have to kill the children, which are the labels. They're identified as widgets in Tkinter, but you can get winfo children and then kill them. So we're going to do that now. So down below, like with, or actually down below root, sorry. We're going to create tons of space here. And then we're going to define a new variable called planets. This is when you select a planet. We're going to pass an event. And we're going to say the planet type is equal to clicked.get. What this does is it assigns whatever planet you chose out of the drop-down menu to planet type. So if I choose Earth, planet type variable becomes Earth. And that's important because now I can say if planet type is equal to, and I can say Earth here like this, or I can say option index 0, which is the first drop-down menu. It doesn't matter how you do this. I just use the option index 0. It's just easier for me to think that way. So here's option index 0. So I'm saying, hey, if this is selected, then do this. So we've got a couple things to consider. By the way, make sure that your planets are in the root. So if they're not, that's totally fine. You can put them in a file. Just make sure you're doing the when you do image.open to go to C drive slash where the location is. If they're in the root though, you don't need to do that at all. You can just say the image is equal to image.open, and then you can just say earth.png. I just named all my planets what they are .png, all lowercase, to keep track of them. So if yours is in like C, you know, users, Anthony, pictures, double slashes, pictures, you know, you can go there. It just looks messy to me, so I leave them right in the root. That's all. So make sure your image is set to that image.open, and then the file location, and then we're going to make the base width equal to 400. So this is actually, this little bit here I copied and pasted from Stack Overflow, and all it does is it resizes. So you can grab this from my GitHub, or I'll paste it down below in the comment section below. But it assigns a new canvas to paste on top of the existing canvas, and it creates an image that resizes it based on its size. So it's pretty cool. It doesn't matter what picture you put in, it will keep it relatively the same size. So it does the resize here, and it imports the photo for you. So then you can just put it in, which is super nice. So we're going to say, so since this creates a new canvas, we're going to say canvas.to, and then we're going to place it in. This is where we can sort of move the planet up and down. And I'm just going to paste this in here, relx. So the dimensions I have for this one are relx is 0.05, rely is 0.1, rel height is 0.6, and rel width is 0.5. And this places the planet in. What we need to do with the other frames is we need to destroy the children now. So you can do that by saying for widget or for X, whatever you want, in description frame widget.destroy. Oh, sorry. Description frame dot w info children. I always forget that. So this just lists basically all of the stuff that's attached to that frame. So you're saying for all those attached things, destroy them. You can destroy them and not forget, and this will work just fine. I don't think forget will work properly. I haven't tried it though. So for widget and description frame, and now we want to do the fact frame dot w info children. Widget.destroy. We're going to do an item4.pack here, which will cause an error, but it does make the planet show up. I must be missing. Oh, right. We need to bind. Ha! We totally forgot the button to run it. Okay, so we have the drop-down menu, but we have nothing to select it. So down below option, we're going to create a new button. Equals tk.button. And then we're going to put this in the canvas. And then we're going to say the text is equal to, we could say get info or something here. You can name this whatever you want. Now we're going to say button.config. This will allow us to change the color. Just going to copy the same configuration as the drop-down menu, so they're the same. And we're going to say button.bind. This allows us to run the actual function that we just created. So button.bind, and then we're going to bind this to button 1, which is like that, just like that. And that is the left click of the mouse. And then when we hit that, we want it to run planet, the function. Now we can place button.place, and then I'm going to place it right next to this. So I'm going to say the same rel x and same rel y. But the, oh, hold on. Yeah, is that right? I guess that is right. Oh, right, 0.4. So we want this 0.3 to shift it in the X position over to the left. There we go. So now we've got two nice looking buttons, so we can hit Earth, get info, and we get our picture in there. So here's a trivia for you. If you are very comfortable with Tkinter, and this is sort of like baby steps for you, can somebody please tell me why I need this item4.pack here? Actually, anything.pack that causes an error puts the picture in, and I don't know why. So if I comment this out and I try to run this, no planet, no errors, see? However, once I put item4.pack, which is currently set to an integer, by the way, this is a number, I think it's 1.pack, you get an error, blink. Says, hey, integer object has no attribution pack, but it puts a picture in. What gives? This is how this program runs right now, so if anybody could please tell me why that happens and what I can do to fix it, I will be eternally grateful. But for now, I have to put item4.pack, or literally just anything.pack, to interrupt it to get the picture to show up, and I can't figure out why. So there's your trivia for the day. We're going to create new labels for the planet. So this is actually like almost done. We're flying through this. So for the label, we're gonna do, we can just say planet label is equal to tk.label in the description frame, and then we're gonna say text is equal to, right now we're just gonna say blank, and font, that gaudy 9. Works out great. If you want it bigger, you can have it bigger. Background is equal to the same as the frame. And we're gonna make the text white so it shows up nice and pretty. Planet label dot pack. Whoops. Dot pack. And we're gonna do the same thing down below, but we're gonna say planet fact. And we're gonna make the font of this, I'm just gonna scroll down to where we did this monotype, 18. And change the font to that. And then I'm just gonna make it a tiny bit smaller, 16 font. So for the text, I'm not gonna type this all out in the YouTube video, but I do have descriptions for all the planets that I manually parsed them from, so copied and pasted from NASA. So, and I put the breaks in for you already. So if you want to take this from my GitHub, go for it. So I'm going to put these as global variables right here. And I have all of these for every planet too. So I named them full Earth description and Earth fact. So you can paste them right into the text here. So you can say full Earth description. You can say Earth fact. So when you hit get Earth, boom, there it is. Didn't run the fact one. Why? Oh. Planet fact. Well, that just broke. Let me see what's going on. Oh, it's in the description frame, that's why. Fact frame. Sorry. So make sure the fact is in the fact frame and the description is in the description frame. Boom, there you go. So that works out great. So this is literally just a rinse and repeat on every single planet now. So what you can do is, well, what I did is I just tightened all this up here. And I took from this if statement. So you can take from all of this, copy, paste down below, change this option to 1 because this is a new planet. Change this to the next planet in line, which is Jupiter. And change this to the full Jupiter description and the Jupiter fact. So I've got those. So I'm going to paste it right there. So you can say full Jupiter description and then Jupiter fact. And I think that's it. Yeah. So do that for every planet if you want, or get creative and create your own little texts right here. I've got all the descriptions of the planets right here with breaks that will work for you. And I also have all of the planets. So if you want to, these if statements, so if you want to just copy and paste this, you can, or if you want to write it out, it's up to you, or just do what I did and copy it and then paste it and then change the option number. You can add things like moons to it if you want, which is really fun. But that's pretty much it. So I'm only going to do 2 planets because it's just rinse and repeat from here. But if you guys have any other suggestions on, you know, these GUI projects, or you want to see something built, I will definitely take suggestions. These are ideas so far that I've just kind of come up with in my own head and was like, that would be really fun to build. So if you're interested in doing that, let me know. I also stream on Saturdays and sometimes Sundays on Twitch, and I do these live. So like, you'll see me struggle through all these things, which is kind of crazy. But we ran into a lot of roadblocks that we had to figure out, so that was a good learning curve for me. You know, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.